to another episode 73 of In the Huddle Sports Radio. I myself is the real Lil, and I am joined by my two co-hosts, Coach Mello, aka Cam, and Zach. Obviously, Kenny C's not here. He normally is with us on Mondays when we do our recaps of each week of the NFL season. So on Thursday and Friday, it's a little different look in the huddle. But guess what? The show is going to continue. Today is Friday the 13th. And we got Jason that's supposed to stop by, Michael Myers too, later on in the show. Now, that's a little jokey joke. But ladies and gentlemen, how y'all feeling, man?
Hey, Lil, man, I'm feeling great. It's Friday. It's payday. I got to spoil myself today.
Check. You know what I'm saying? Got the check. Hey, let's get it. Let's get it.
What about you, Zach?
I feel you.
Yeah, boys, happy to be here with you guys. I love recording on a Friday. We get to go over the Thursday night game a little bit, get to preview everything going on in Week 10 of the NFL season. I'm really looking forward to doing it with you guys today. And, yeah, let's get to it.
Yes, sir. We might as well get right to it. Last night, the Colts defeated the Titans 34-17 to take the AFC South lead. Are you buying that the Colts will remain on top of the division? Start with you, Zach.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you guys. I think right now the AFC South is wide up for grabs, and I think last night that really showed us that. I think when you look at the Indianapolis Colts, I was impressed with how they stayed in the game the whole way last. They got stopped on that fourth down deep in Tennessee territory. The Titans on their first drive of the game scored a touchdown. I feel like most people do consider the Tennessee Titans to be a pretty solid team. So I like how Indianapolis in a tough spot on the road was able to come back, shut out Tennessee in the second half, and be able to get the job done. I think the answer to your question, Lil, is this. It's kind of similar to Carson Wentz in Philadelphia. They need Phillip Rivers to just simplify the game and play like he did last night. Do not turn the ball over. You have a good running game, one of the better offensive lines in the league. I think their defense is getting better and better. It's one of the better units in football as well. And I think right now, the way I look at it, I think I would give Indianapolis going into Tennessee last night the slight edge over the Titans. But luckily for Tennessee, the Colts' schedule is pretty tough the next couple of games. I know they have Green Bay at home next week, and then they go to host Tennessee again in 2 weeks, so they'll get one more crack at each other. But I would give Indianapolis the slight edge. They went on the road last night and got the job done.
Oh, Zach, man, I couldn't agree with you anymore on this. I just felt like, honestly, before the season started, I favored the Tennessee Titans to win the AFC South because of their production that they had in the playoff last season. But so far after starting 5-0, these guys been 1-3 the last 4 games, and honestly, Ryan Tannehill hasn't been the same guy as people were hyping him up to be. He hasn't cracked over 200 passing yards the past 2 games. The productivity of AJ Brown has gone down. He only had 1 catch for 21 yards yesterday, which is unacceptable. As far for third down conversion, the Titans were 3 of 10, 30%, which is bad. And on fourth down, they're 0 for 1. But I must say, man, that Indy's defense is getting better. They only average about 21 points a game. Honestly, just like you said, Zach, Phillip Rivers just got to keep the game simple. Don't do too much. I feel like with Phillip Rivers' presence and leadership, I believe that it helps the Colts, in some manageable situations to win games down the line. So honestly, I won't be surprised if the Colts end up winning the AFC South at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think it's the Colts AFC South division to lose. And quite frankly, Lil Shadamas here. When the season started, before the season started, I dropped my top 10 teams, my top 10 power rankings before the season started. And I actually had the Indianapolis Colts at 7, which was the 3rd highest team in the AFC, behind the Ravens and the Chiefs. Now, granted, I believe they're the 3rd highest team right now, other than the Ravens and the Steelers with flip-flop. So I'm pretty much on track with how I believe the Colts season will play out. Listen, they have a good team. They have a good defense. They have a good running game, as you see, with Hakeem Hines. He was playing good yesterday. 12 rushes, 70 yards, 5 receptions for 45 yards. And you also have wide receivers. We saw Phillip Rivers distributing the ball to his guys. Obviously, there was some throws from Phillip Rivers in the red zone that I thought he could have connected on. And I don't know what he was waiting on. Guys like, I believe it was Alex Cox was wide open for a touchdown. Rivers was looking at him, but didn't throw the ball to him quickly. And then by the time he threw the ball, the defender already got there. So it's little things like that. But I do believe we saw a Phillip Rivers that was like, listen, we got a lot of talent on the roster offensively, so I'm going to just get the ball to these guys in space and let them create. And that's all he needs to do. He never had the strongest arm. That's not his forte. He's more of a guy that, has a good pocket presence, that can see the football field and deliver the football. And that's all he needs to do. If Phillip Rivers can be average, we don't need him to be Houdini. We don't need him to be a turnover machine. If he can be average, that Colts team, I believe, is right up there with Kansas City and the Steelers if he can stay average. To the Titans side, ultimate collapse in the second half. Ultimate collapse. The Colts scored 2 touchdowns in 59 seconds because of turnovers. A shank punt that gave the Colts good for field position to come back and drive down the field and score. A punt that was blocked that was returned for a touchdown. Once you do that, the game is over. And that's what it was.
Yeah, a couple other things. I really liked the Indianapolis Colts game plan last night, especially in the second half. They were really able to take Derrick Henry away, and they believed that up front, their defensive line had the advantage over Tennessee's offensive line, which is banged up. They're missing Taylor Lewan, who is out for the season. And I feel like, Cam, when you mentioned over the last couple of games, the Tennessee Titans offense has just not looked the same. And I agree with you guys. I think Philip Rivers just has to keep it simple, don't do too much. And I think the Colts also have done a really nice job drafting, bringing in Nyheim Hines, bringing in Jonathan Taylor. Michael Pittman was phenomenal last night. He looked unstoppable. T.Y. Hilton isn't the same player he used to be, but he's still productive. Same with Zach Pascal. And I agree, Frank Reich leading this team, I'm looking forward to see what they can do going forward.
Oh, yeah.
And another thing, too, with the Tennessee Titans here, man, look, they just got the special teams is killer right now. Steven Gostkowski, I already told you to bring that ass here, boy. I don't need to do it again because, you know what I'm saying? But look, you got to make the field goal, man. You got to make the field goal.
That's the thing. If I'm a Titan fan, I think that's the thing where I look at it and it's like, all right, maybe I should be freaking out right now because if our special teams is normal and good, which isn't that hard to fix, then, okay, we should be on track. Like, their punter was hurt last night and their backup didn't get the job done. But also, a couple other things. A.J. Brown dropping that ball in the first quarter when the Titans had they were up 7-0 at the time, and he was gone, and he juggled it. I think if they connect on that play, the game does go much differently because then Tennessee would have to force Philip Rivers to throw the ball more, which obviously if you're the Titans, you want that to happen. So at the same time, I think that play really did make a big impact on the game.
Then there's another thing, too. Yesterday, the Colts running game, they did a lot of misdirection, so I believe, that was also an advantage for them, to beat the Tennessee's defense. And honestly, like I said,
they beat the Titans at their own game. They beat the Titans at their own game.
Okay, correct.
And I think that just shows to all of us how good the Colts defense is. Because if you could shut down Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill on the road in a big spot like that on a short week, that shows me you're legit. I think one of the 5 best defenses in the league.